What better way for a son and father to bond over than their mutual love for the Dallas Cowboys? Hi, I'm Michael Davis with my dad, Matt. We're a star-studded son and dad duo on the star-studded Cowboys Network, powered by Fans First Sport Network, and this is Dad and the Boys. You are listening to us on FFSN, and in addition, you are watching the video feed on Boom Broadcasting in month 2 of the new YouTube channel. And Boom Broadcasting has a lot of different content that you guys can enjoy, but we are a specific Cowboys podcast. And I know the channel will have a Packers podcast, and we've had those guys on Out of Pocket, and it's all right. But we're going to talk about Dallas Cowboys today, and the Cowboys have signed not one but 2 pass rushers. Our last episode, we covered the unfortunate injury to Sam Williams, and now the Cowboys have responded by signing Al-Quadin Muhammad and Shaka Toney. Notably, Shaka Toney is actually one of Micah Parsons' former teammates at Penn State. So, what do you think about the signings of Muhammad and Toney? And do you think this is enough for the Cowboys to replace the production of Sam Williams?
I've read certain things on them both, son, that give them praise, but there is hesitation. It may be just kicking the tires to see if they give them enough. Now, you got to understand, Sam Williams wasn't going to be replacing Michael Parsons or DeMarcus Lawrence. He was going to be a reserve situational pass rusher, giving them spells along with Nealon. Will it be enough? I don't know. I think they're still going to be scouring the waiver wires and free agency throughout the process. But why not give them a chance? They're probably a more low-cost signing than some of the other free agents out there.
Yeah, and it's always interesting bringing in like certain people, especially like, I mean, they're free agents. I mean, at this point in the season, like, are they necessarily going to move the needle like Cowboys fans would want any signing to do? But I know we mentioned last episode Yannick Ngakoue. I don't believe he was brought in for a workout.
He wasn't. Now, Carl Lawson was brought in, which was surprising that he didn't go that route because Carl Lawson has a history with Paul Guenther.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati, who's on staff with Mike Zimmer. May just be the money.
Which would be very unfortunate. Now, Carl Lawson, I ain't even noticed this. He's never had a double-digit sack season, but a couple years ago with the Jets, when he played a full year, he had 7 sacks. And I mean, I'll be like, okay, let's see what Carl Lawson could do, especially with. I mean, and Dallas has always done this where if there's a scheme fit, if there's a relationship with the coach, they usually favor those players. And I don't know why they didn't with Carl.
Well, and there again, it may just be that the timing's not right. They may have brought him in, see what he's got. He may be dealing with issues that we don't know about. It may be that, hey, it's kind of like going to the bar. When you go to the bar and you go into there and you start looking at, I'm going to ask this girl out to dance. I'm going to ask her to dance. As the clock keeps ticking and time starts running short, girls always get prettier at closing time.
Wow.
So will he come out and say, hey, I wanted this much, but now I'm going to back down and go this route?
You know what's funny? I almost had the same analogy in my head. I was like, it's kind of like a first date, right person, wrong time, and then you went like, hey, let's just go to the bar. and that's the cool thing about Dad and the Boys is, you get to be invited where you don't have a bar set up. I feel like that would be pretty cool. Maybe we'll do Miller Lights the next episode. But with this, you're basically invited into our, our man cave, our Cowboys lounge. We'll come up with new names for that. So if you want to drop those in the comments.
We don't have the bar, but we got prime time and and Dak back here in the background. And we got other stuff throughout the room, banners and flags and stuff that can't necessarily see on camera, but gives a good presence to the room.
It's there. It's there. And speaking of there, there's not a lot of Cowboys fans at train camp, but train camp is still going on. We'll talk a little bit more about, why we think fans may not be attending training camp here in a second when we put somebody on the hot seat that you may not expect us to put on the hot seat. But when it comes to the actual players who are there and putting their best foot forward, who have you been impressed by now that we're about to do padded practices?
Well, padded practice did start this past Tuesday, and so they've had 2 practices. Yesterday was an off day, giving them a little bit of rest, and then of course they'll resume today on Friday. And Tyler Guyton going up against Micah Parsons has been impressive. Another one that's been impressive that's kind of a shocker is Brock Hoffman. He has really solidified the starting center now. Not to say that he will be the center on week 1. Cooper Beebe's just working on some issues with the long snapping. I saw videos out there on the internet where he's been practicing on snapping the ball to mom. He knows that is a technique that he's not familiar with, having not played center in college. So, I mean, it is an adjustment for him, and he's working on it. So he knows that that's a deficiency, and hopefully he will get that, because I think he's going to be the future at center. Another rookie that we're kind of high on is Kalen Carson. By the way, Kalen, you got the first scuffle there on Wednesday afternoon. With Spanford, isn't it? Brevin Spanford, tied in.
Yeah.
Another rookie. They just wanted to go a little bit after the whistle. So awesome. Love to see that fireness and that fiery spirit in the players, especially the young players.
Yeah.
Make your name. Jalen Tolbert has been lights out. Him and the Jalen Brooks have been amazing. Wednesday wasn't my best practice for my boy quarterback
Trey
Lance. He struggled a little bit Wednesday. He may want to just put that in the back of his memory and kind of forget about that and go forward. But it's looking really good. A lot of talent out there. Do wish 88 would hurry and get back so we can see what it all looks like together. But, it's giving these guys an opportunity to shine at lower roster guys. And again, just excited. Tyler Guyton, you're potentially going up against Cleveland.
Myles Garrett.
I
forgot we opened the season with the Browns. That's going to
be a test, but you know what? You're getting the best test, in my opinion, right now, going up against Micah Parsons, because I personally think Micah's better than Myles Garrett. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but
and the Madden rankings came out this past week. I know everybody's doing the EA Sports College Football. Just so you know, Boom Broadcasting, that YouTube channel, is doing a EA Sports College Football 25 giveaway right now to the first 500 subscribers. It's at about 350 right now. So go over there, subscribe, enter yourself into it. There's a whole video, like 2 minutes, on how to get fully signed up for that giveaway. But that's something that Boom Broadcasting is doing. And Madden ranked both Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons at 98 overall. One name that they didn't is TJ Watt, which everybody's quick to say TJ Watt's on the same level, if not better than Micah Parsons. But I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know that's not accurate at all.
And I like TJ Watt. I wish we would have drafted TJ Watt rather than Taco Charlton, personally.
Could you imagine
a team with TJ Watt and Micah Parsons on the same team? Oh, heavens.
But you know what everybody would say? Oh, you can't pay them all. You're going to have to trade Michael. You're going to have to trade TJ. By the way, other than that Taco and maybe one or two others, like we've drafted pretty well.
We have, and historically, especially when we went offensive line. So that gives me a little bit more hope on Tyler Guyton. And the fact that if you can wall off Michael Parson on back-to-back reps in practice, you're doing something right, kid. He does look good. I think he'll be our week 1 starter, barring any setbacks or anything unforeseen. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring. We need somebody to protect the $60 million man, or soon to be $60 million man. Blindside.
Hey, 60, 65.
No, it can't go up to 65, 70. It needs to stay at least 60 and below.
Which after that Jordan Love contract, I'm getting a little worried. Like we need to go ahead and lock him up before the market keeps moving. But that'll bring us to our next segment after the commercial break, telling you who we are putting on the hot seat. And we will be right back if you're joining us on FFSN after a quick commercial break. And Boom Broadcasting will stay over here. If you're joining us on Fans First Sports Network, welcome back after this commercial break on the Star-Studded Cowboys Network with Dad and the boys. This is episode number 4, which means Dak Prescott. And we just mentioned Dak Prescott does not have a contract beyond this season just yet. And some people may blame Dak Prescott for that. People may blame the salary cap. But who we are going to put on blast on the hot seat right now, if you're watching on Boom Broadcasting, listening on Fans First Sports Network, is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, who also assumes the role of general manager. Now, we'll put a disclaimer on this. Usually hot seat will be, hey, if a player or a coach is performing well or performing poorly, we'll put them on blast. We'll evaluate their performance. Now, Mike McCarthy last episode was, hey, is he going to be around next season? Now, we all know the reality when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys organization. Jerry Jones is going to be a member of the Dallas Cowboys organization until Jerry does not want to be a member of the organization anymore, or somebody else with a higher power besides Jerry Jones isn't going to be a member of the Cowboys organization or on this earth, because we know Jerry Jones is probably going to go to his grave as the Dallas Cowboys owner. And honestly, knowing Jerry, he'll probably be, making some calls down here, saying, hey, I need you guys to draft this quarterback. He's my grandson. He's a Dallas Cowboy for life. But everybody loves, whenever they disagree with a decision with the Cowboys, the first person they blame is Jerry Jones. That could be a front office decision. That could be a free agency decision. That could be a decision another team makes, like Jordan Love getting his contract, and we'll blame Jerry Jones. It could be a player just throwing an interception, and everybody will blame Jerry Jones. He is the official scapegoat of the Cowboys, but you will when you're Jerry Jones, you're owner of the Dallas Cowboys. So we're putting Jerry Jones on the hot seat. Does Jerry deserve to be there?
I'm going to say a resounding yes. The end all be all of Jerry Jones is fan intrigue. He keeps the Dallas Cowboys in the media. He keeps them in the spotlight. Now, just thinking back to what you said, I didn't want to stop your train of thought going there, son. But you remember shortly after we went to Dallas to watch them play their last game that they were known as the Redskins.
Yes.
And what a wonderful trip. But it was shortly after that they introduced that Jerry Jones had spent a lot of time in front of a camera. And now you can actually go and talk to Jerry Jones through using AI technology. So, I mean, he's already set that in motion, what you were talking about, coming back from the grave.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of a bumper sticker I once saw. It said, "If you want to take my guns, you'll have to pry them from my cold dead hands." That's probably how Jerry's going to be with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But if you look at video and pictures of training camp right now, it's hard not to notice that the stands aren't full like
They
normal.
really aren't.
They're not at capacity like they are. And I may be wrong on this, so please don't jump down with the comment sections and everything. But my understanding is that in the NFL during training camp, practices are open to the public to some extent. And when they are, it's free. So if you've ever been to a Dallas Cowboy game, you know that it is not free. So to have free access and more access to the players, because that's when you get autographs and stuff like that a lot of times, and get to talk to them. To have that free open access to them, yeah, they're not playing a game, but they are practicing. You're getting to see your stars, the people that you love watching on Sunday afternoons on the set in front of you, up close and personal, and to not take advantage of that free access is amazing. Now, my understanding, because it is, I'm pretty sure it is free, because uh, and I think the NFL has a rule that if you take in charge people to come, then you open that access up to the other teams, and they're not allowed at your practices through training camp.
Oh, wow.
If it's free, that's kind of hitting the
Yeah, it's like hit and miss.
The Belichick gate stuff.
We'll leave that Bill Belichick thing alone for now.
We want to leave Bill Belichick alone. He's a great coach and everything. I highly respect the man, but we don't want him coaching the Dallas Cowboys next year either. So we want Mike McCarthy off the hot seat.
Yes,
and
that's why we did the hot seat last time.
But Jerry, you definitely deserve to be on there. I mean, point blank, Jerry, you're a businessman. The Joneses are business folks, and the number one thing about business is making money. If you've got to build that interest, and you do a great job at keeping Dallas in the spotlight, whether it be contracts, you need to get I know we say you need to get this signed, but we don't know all the parameters that go on in negotiations. That's what it is. It is a negotiation.
Yeah.
And it's between two parties, and we don't know exactly the demands of the players. We don't know the demands of the agents. We're not privy to those conversations. So I want you to sign them, but I give you leeway on that. I mean, personally, I don't hold that against you. I know it is a negotiation. I've never known very many players that Jerry Jones wants to keep that Jerry Jones doesn't find a way to keep.
They're very few far in between. Like if we're being honest, I mean, I can't remember of a real like legitimate player leaving the Cowboys organization. Like you could even say like DeMarco Murray leaving for the Eagles, but I don't think we tried that hard to keep DeMarco Murray.
I think the only one that comes to mind amazingly was a couple years ago when Randy Gregory left. They actually had him and announced it under contract, and Randy Gregory's agent and Randy opted to go to the Denver because of a little bit of wording in the contract that was there to protect the Cowboys. I mean, the organization, and I fully understood it because, simply put, up to that point, the Randy had really had a checkered past. With the organization, and they stood by him throughout that pass. A lot of suspensions, a lot of issues, and they were just trying to cover themselves in an age of a salary cap. And I know there's teams out there that kick stuff down the road, but Dallas is trying to be physically responsible with the salary cap, and I respect them for that. There is dead money, folks, and it'll come if we don't sign Dak. We'll be paying him 50-some million, I think, next year for not even being on a team. Unfortunately, against our cap, that is. He's already received the money, I'm sure. But they have to have that in account Good news though. Just saw breaking last night that right now the judge has tossed out the suit against the NFL on the NFL Sunday ticket. Of
Okay.
course, the plaintiff will probably appeal the decision. Uh, so that would have ramifications in the future on the salary cap if they were to lose money there. Typically, the salary cap, other than the COVID years, has continuously went up and by a considerable amount here lately with the
Yeah.
new TV deal. But if that was to get a negative judgment against the NFL, that could lower the salary cap, which would at that time make some of these contracts that people are signing around the league really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
The expectation with Dak Prescott's trade is he'll probably set, I mean, with his contract, he will probably set the market this year.
Yeah.
And he will be leading there. And just like 4 years ago, he set the market. Now he's not even in the top 12.
That is good perspective.
That's the goal is, yeah, let him set the market. But then, 3 to 4 years from now, he's not even in the top 10, top 12.
Especially when you start restructuring deals and contracts and everything.
So, I mean, yeah, Jerry, you do need to be on the hot seat. Get these contracts, work something out, get the fan base energized. It was tough losing this probably other than when we were playing them, you'll probably hear me say the words Green Bay Packers. It was tough losing to them in the playoffs. It really did hurt. But we were healthy. You said it yourself in interviews this training camp and with 105.3 The Fan and various ones. We were healthy. We were ready. We should have been able to go in there and win that game. We were playing at home, which the last couple of years has been a great place for us to be playing because we typically do really well at home and we're undefeated.
Yeah.
We had a complete regular season undefeated streak going at home, dating back to the first game of the previous year against the Buccaneers. So, I mean, the fact that we lost was one thing. The fact that we lost at home when the expectation was so high that we would advance was a different scenario. Do I think we've got the team to compete for a Super Bowl this year? Yes, I do. Do I think you've done a great job at building that team? Yes, I do. But you have to engage the fans because the fans is what's going to bring you the money.
Yeah. 100%. And especially hopefully this hot seat isn't to, throw pitchforks at them and, force Jerry Jones out the building. Maybe this hot seat just lights a fire under your butt so that you can sign CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, eventually Micah Parsons, and make sure the core of the Dallas Cowboys is there for many, many years to come. But this has been Dad and the Boys on your Friday afternoon on Fans First, on Boom Broadcasting. And yes, we will be back on Tuesday to cover a little more Cowboys, talk about training camp, and then we're not too far away. We had the Hall of Fame game last night. We're going to be previewing the first Cowboys preseason game here very, very soon. But for now, you may return to your regularly scheduled lives. Thanks for tuning in for Dad and the Boys with Mac and Michael, powered by Boom Broadcasting and Fans First Sports Network on the star-studded Cowboys Network. And remember, this isn't our first rodeo. We'll catch you next time.